Physical media is better, and not only can I prove it, but you can see it for yourself. This isn't a rallying cry, it's not some anti-Sony diatribe, it's just the reality of media in its current state. So I'm not going to talk about the potential monopolization conversations, or even the potential for platforms to take away or delist your games or movies, mostly because there's not a lot of precedence for that, especially with non-multiplayer server-focused games. It can, has, and probably will happen, but instead, physical media is better and important because of the way you engage with media right now. You don't even need the what-if-isms. In 2012, Sony made a purchase for the PlayStation brand that flew under the radar for most people. For $380 million, they purchased a company called Gaikai. Remember that? We're gonna circle all the way back around to it. So let's start with movies and then move to games, because movies are actually a really good case study for why games should make physical an option. The argument is that streaming is more convenient, digital is more convenient, but with movies and TV, not only is that not really all that true, it's also ignoring the fact that it sucks. Let's start with a simple fact. Physical movies are vastly superior viewing experiences. Literally 100% of the time. Ask anyone with a Lord of the Rings Extended Edition box set. When you watch a 4K movie on Netflix, that 4K number means very little. What matters is the bitrate, the actual number that determines quality. It's why you see so many people calling Netflix's 4K a scam. See this video here for a deeper dive on bitrate though. You're getting, in a good streaming environment, a bitrate of around 20 megabits per second. With this, however, up to 128 megabits per second and typically around 80. That lower number is 4 times the literal pixel quality of streaming. You're getting better fine detail, less artifacting, better preservation of film grain, fog, smoke, rain, all streaming compression nightmares in movies and shows. But not on Blu-ray. This bitrate is why your shows and movies on Netflix often turn into blocky mush out of nowhere. And this all says nothing of the lackluster color, smoothing of images, and the potential for you to watch the first 2 minutes of the movie like you're looking at a pack of Legos. Then there's audio. Imagine this, you're taking a high-resolution photograph. A lossy compression algorithm says the viewer probably won't notice these tiny details, so we'll just throw them away. That's essentially what most streaming audio does. To be reductive about it, it analyzes the soundtrack and permanently removes information that it predicts most listeners won't consciously hear. It thinks they won't. Lossless audio on a Blu-ray is going to keep all that thrown away stuff. God forbid you have a little sound system action going on, then you can really hear the difference. And now we start to touch up on games. Because of pricing. Don't worry, games in their entirety are ahead. With movies and pricing, streaming movies and shows is often not even more convenient. You have to start up your platform, wait for it to load, then for the majority of the world's internet users, sit and wait for it to buffer and stutter and hope it plays straight through. But if you go on your phone, one-click order the Blu-ray for Avengers, it arrives the same day in some places, you put it in, you wait for it to load, and then you're good. That sounds pretty similar. The convenience difference gets even tougher when you look at the cost. 4K streaming with no ads on Netflix is currently, at the time of me writing this, $27 a month. So I sign up for Netflix to watch my favorite movie, Runaway Bride, the Julia Robb classic. So I sit down and I watch after paying my $27. Well, 38 days later, I want to watch it again. I need it. I've now paid $54 for that privilege. 2 months later, I want me some Runaway Bride. Of course I do. I've now paid $116 for that privilege. Now, hopefully, I've used Netflix for more than Runaway Bride because I now feel like I have to. But the point is, if in a year I want to watch more Runaway Bride, I've theoretically paid almost $250 to do so. That's a car payment. And I'm getting it in worse quality than the Blu-ray that I can currently buy and have delivered to my door for $10. Streaming isn't just expensive, its convenience is barely all that convenient, especially when you consider that every month you see one of these articles. Oh, look at that. The show or movie you just signed up to watch, poof, gone. Now I have to pay for Hulu to watch me some Julia Robb. Now I'm paying for 2 streaming services. So let's look at games. PlayStation Plus is a requirement to play online in most games with your friends. The industry has, not so coincidentally, moved further into live service, co-op, and multiplayer games over the last decade. So let's ignore that multiplayer element of Plus. Let's say I'm mostly a single player gamer. I signed up for PlayStation Plus Premium for $18 because I want not just the free PS5 games, but access to PS3 games, because the cell architecture of the PS3 means Sony still hasn't figured out how to cost effectively do backwards compatibility with the system. I sign up just in time to fall in love with a free game for that month, God of War Ragnarok. I love it, but I have a job, little free time, so it takes me about a month or so to get all the way through. I've now paid, once that month rolls over, $36 to play the only game I played that month, Ragnarok. $3 more than I would pay if I had it delivered to my door by GameStop. But I want to play through again, so I do 6 weeks later. Once again, I've now paid the full price of a new video game to play Ragnarok. This isn't crazy. Studies have shown the average gamer plays 10 hours a week on console. This is the average experience, 2 playthroughs of Ragnarok, and I'm paying the same price. If I have a bad time with Ragnarok and I bounce off of it, I get in a financial bind and have to sell my PS5, I lose my job, I get sick. I can't sell back my PlayStation Plus subscription or give it to my cousin. Better yet, I love the game. The only way for me to keep access to this game I love is to then either A, pay $18 a month in perpetuity, in theory hundreds of dollars over the course of a year, or buy it physically anyway. How the is that convenient? The average gamer buys 2 full-price games a year, due to both the discretionary income realities in the West and the time constraints of living a normal life globally. Even at $70, the average gamer wouldn't even normally spend the amount it costs to keep PlayStation Plus Premium on a monthly billing cycle for a year. Even buying it as an annual subscription is more expensive than you normally spend, and you have no clue what the value throughout the year you're going to get out of that subscription in advance. The convenience is a gamble. Here's another reality. Say you really want to play GTA 6 at launch. Fun fact, the preload starts a week early. Why? Because game install sizes are so bloated now, so out of control, that it will take some people globally that entire week to download the game. Oh, but the disc is just a license check anyway. Yeah, that's a problem too. Also, not so true, given that some analysts have estimated that 70+% of games are fully playable on disc right away. For 30 years, games have managed to come on multiple discs when needed. See JRPGs. Something Blu-rays, by the way, are more than capable of. Now, technical realities may make that more difficult for something like GTA 6. But it is an incredibly rare potential exception. Digital gaming may, yes, be more convenient for you in the moment, but globally, internet speeds and connections still suck. And that's a nail on the head, because part of the issue with this conversation currently is that it's mostly happening in echo chambers where the average person has great internet, buys 40 games a year, has plenty of time to game, and makes reasonable use of their PS Plus subscription and its perks. None of that is the norm, statistically. And this isn't me barking up a tree I'm not willing to climb. I am a massive fan of physical media, especially when it comes to film. I have shelves of Blu-rays. I'm a dude who was willing to pay exorbitant eBay prices for the out-of-print Shout Factory release of home movies on DVD. And I assure you, games are a sign of the times for all disc-related things. I'm not grumpy about the industry moving in a direction I don't like. I'm annoyed because it's an industry doing so before it's matured enough to do so responsibly. There's no infrastructure in place to make this move make sense currently for the consumer in terms of pricing, resale, or even security. Jesus, imagine your PSN gets hacked in 2029. Whoopsies! The whole industry has been moving towards this absurdity. Black Flag Resync requires an online check upon boot up. Why? Because it launches with Ubisoft Connect and $85 of microtransactions. It is exclusively a single-player experience. That game comes on a disc. The problems run deeper than just Sony not printing new ones. It's just the bomb on a jet taking off to attempt to end the war. Microsoft already tried this in 2013. The industry wasn't ready, and they were the worst possible people to be trailblazing in that way. They were kings in the West coming off of the 360. They fell, mostly due to the reception of these things. Now Sony is king in the West. History sometimes repeats. Will Sony fall? Probably not. That's not the point. The point is that physical media is better, both literally and figuratively. It has real technical merits, real financial merits, real accessibility merits over digital. I have no issues buying a digital game or streaming a Netflix original, but even Netflix sees the value of physical media. I just like it to be known that what we're losing isn't some nostalgic, pearl-clutching antiquation of a hobby's past. It's the very real current tangible benefits of being able to choose a better option. In 2012, Sony made a purchase that flew under the radar for most people. For $380 million, they purchased a company called Gaikai, a company focused on cloud, streaming, and digital-first tech. Some people were concerned. Those people were right. Sony didn't make this decision overnight. They didn't respond to Grand Theft Auto's digital-only release. Even Baldur's Gate 3 was digital-only in most countries. No, they've been looking at ways to do this very thing for nearly 15 years. We were just blinded by the lights, and maybe a little bit by Kratos. That's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed this one, or just like a good disc, hit that like button down below. And if you haven't yet done so, hit subscribe so you don't miss anything coming to the channel. And as always, this has been